So, I've been waiting for this teaser for so long. I'm honestly kind of speechless. Arcane is one of my favorite shows of all time. I've been waiting so long for season 2, and I can't believe it's finally happening now. But this new teaser has raised a lot of questions. Questions I aim to answer. So a quick recap for those of you who haven't seen Arcane. Seriously, go watch it on Netflix. It's the best. Arcane is a spin-off show based on the game League of Legends. The first 2 seasons are set in the cities of Piltover and Zaun. The show follows a pair of sisters in Zaun, Vi and Powder, as they get involved in the machinations of the die-hard revolutionary, Silco. Long story short, they get separated. Powder gets adopted by Silco and adopts the new name Jinx, as Silco begins his reign of terror as a drug lord, doling out shimmer to the masses. Now, in Piltover, we follow an aspiring inventor, Jace, as he takes matters into his own hands to create a new source of energy called Hextech, along with the help of his Zana assistant, Victor. 7 years later, while on a mission to unravel the criminal underworld, an aspiring cop named Caitlin finds and breaks Vi out of prison because she's been in prison for the past 7 years. Meanwhile, Jinx's mental state has been starting to break down. As with Vi back in her life, she starts acting more and more erratically, grabbing the attention of Piltover with her stealing of the next breakthrough in Hextech. Adding more fuel to the fire, one of the characters, Mel, gets visited by her domineering mother, Ambessa, queen of the powerful kingdom of Noxus. The season ended with Jinx killing Silco, embracing her new identity, and launching a missile at the Council of Piltover as peace between the 2 cities is reached. Now, a few days ago, a new teaser was released. Let's look at it together, shall we? The first 2 shots are of Piltovan enforcers investigating the wreckage of an explosion, as well as a broken chair. This, we can safely say, is the council Jinx bombed at the end of last season. Not really much to say here, aside from similarities to the beginning of Season 1. Ambessa's voiceover here is interesting as to who she's talking to, but we'll talk about that later. The next 2 shots are of Vi walking through the debris left behind after some kind of accident. This is interesting, as on the first shot we can see a dead chem tank. Basically, these guys are drugged up Shimmer users wearing mech suits. And this shows that this isn't the council that Jinx bombed earlier, but rather some other kind of building. We also see some other kind of canister, possibly from a chem tank or some retaliatory weapon used. In the next shot, we see banners representing Piltover. The symbol on those banners are the same ones that appear on Marcus, Grayson, and later Vi, as we'll get to later, hinting that this is some kind of police station, although it could also be some kind of makeshift council room. The next shot is of Ambessa putting on a golden mask. Side note, but it kind of looks like this Machineian funeral mask. Remember this for later. Kind of. Now, gold has always been associated with her daughter Mel, hinting that maybe Ambessa is switching more towards Mel's political philosophy of diplomacy versus Ambessa's previous ideology of might makes right and violence and stuff. This would align with the quote from the showrunner Christian Link that many of the characters would eventually become the opposite of their forms in Season 1. However, the context kind of muddies this theory. Firstly, I find it very hard to justify her putting on this mask for this purpose, as Ambessa has tended to be very showy, very indulgent. She throws her weight around a lot. So that leaves 2 options. The first is war, which would make sense as she very much had that mentality in Season 1, and it would also make sense with her line right now. Wrath must be met with wrath. The way she says it has almost a tone of grief, maybe revenge, and this leads me to believe that we might see Mel die at some point in the season. This would also make sense with the second possibility I had, that this is in fact a ceremonial mask, and most likely a funeral mask, much like the Mycenaean funeral mask from earlier. The next shot is of some kind of airship flying through the clouds during a haunting red sunset. This will connect to the police station idea from earlier, as I'll clarify later. Something interesting is that it looks suspiciously like the airship that Mbessa gets on in her first scene. The next shot is of Vi running through a crowd of people, running away from something else. This has a similar red lighting to the previous shot, but Vi's jacket hints that this is the beginning of Season 2. Most likely, this is her going with her girlfriend Caitlin to the Piltover Council after the explosion. We then see a bunch of Noxian soldiers standing alongside a bunch of Piltover soldiers, or policemen, I'm not sure. This probably means that, Noxus gets into some sort of alliance with Piltover at some point. The next shot is of Caitlin in an enforcer uniform, as Mbessa says via voiceover, "You will have justice." Here, I feel that the teaser is misdirecting us, as this is because I simply don't see Mbessa forming a relationship with an enforcer regardless of her nobility. I am open to the possibility though. The next few shots are of Kate and Vi showing off their new and improved Hextech weaponry. Caitlin has a Hextech rifle, much like she does in League of Legends, and Vi has the Atlas gauntlets she got from Jace, repaired and improved. All just to say, Jace is still alive. Some of these shots of Vi showed up in a 10-second teaser that came out a few days before this trailer. And basically, Vi seems to become an enforcer, and the badge on her belt seems to indicate that she is a sheriff. Kate also has a similar badge, but it's in silver, not gold, which is quite strange. Maybe they share the role of sheriff. Vi does seem to be a lot more uncertain in these shots, which could be for a variety of reasons. Most obviously, disgust at wearing the uniform of the people who killed her parents, but there's probably other reasons, such as her deteriorating mental state. The next few shots are of a group of chem tanks attacking some sort of building. This, I believe, is the police station I talked about earlier. Here's how I imagine the scene playing out. Pretty early into the season, the Zonite leadership decides to take out this police station or something with the aim of crippling any attempt at retaliation, using the airship from earlier as a disguise for some sort of troop carrier. They drop chem tanks on the police station, causing lots of damage, possibly injuring Kate. This makes Vi choose to become an enforcer when Kate gets better and starts her strike force. The next few shots are some stuff with Kate talking about her strike force into Zon. One of these shots seems to have a group of enforcers going through a door with riot shields. Firstly, I'm questioning if these even are riot shields, as they seem to be similar in size to those Roman tower shields, but whatever. Secondly, the lighting of the scene looks like it's taking place at Stillwater Prison, implying some sort of battle goes on there. This will be relevant later. In the next shot, we see a mugshot of Jinx, looking kind of like her original concept art in League of Legends, followed by Vi evading a bunch of Jinx's chomper grenades. This is likely the same place as Vi's epic fight with Jinx at the end of the teaser. Caitlin's wording here is interesting, locate Jinx. This implies that she's not aligned with this Zonite cause or generally in hiding. This is weird because Jinx is very theatrical in Season 1, but I'm not sure what this might mean though. We then see an explosion in an area with Jinx's graffiti on it, and a bunch of enforcers closing in on someone. In the background of this shot, we see some sort of statue. My theory is that this is the same Vander statue Silco gives a eulogy to in episode 9. That someone is clarified in the next shot, where the scientist Singed is being arrested. This one shot gave me so many questions. Firstly, he seems to be coming willingly, so why? Does this have anything to do with Warwick? Basically, it's all but confirmed at this point that Singed did some experimenting with the dead body of Vander to turn him into some sort of undead werewolf monster thing. Basically, if Warwick were to show up, is he under Singed control? Why does it look like he's being arrested in Piltover, or is it Zon? Because we can see the Vander statue. If it is Zon, how has so much damage been done that the Vander statue is fully lit in broad daylight? We know that Singed might still be supplying Zon with shimmers, so what does that have to do with it? So many questions. My working theory is that most likely around episodes 5 or 7, Kate's initiative ends up finding Singed and his lab, causing a lot of damage to Zon in the process. Considering the power of Hex Tech, it feels possible for Kate to accidentally blow up a building, but I don't play League. Only to find that Singed is surprisingly chill. However, Kate's team soon realizes why, as Warwick shows up, traumatizing Vi and possibly injuring Kate. Warwick probably goes out of control, and maybe has a moment of depth upon seeing the Vander statue. Next we see a shot of Savika holding a pistol, with Jinx's art scribbled on it, indicating maybe some sort of alliance or softening relationship between them. Perhaps her new position as neutral puts her in a position of reluctant alliance with Jinx. We then see a shot of Kate using her gun, and her strike force encountering a massive chem tank. The next shots are of the Chem Barons, powerful businessmen who control a lot of Zon after Silco's death. Then we see the statue a lot of people have been theorizing about. Some have theorized that this statue is of some new character. I've heard some people say it's Orianna from League of Legends, or some other random Chem Baron. I personally believe that it's most likely Jinx. The face looks kind of similar, and it would make sense with an idea of hers that I'll get into later. Next we see a quick shot of Ambessa's hand, followed by a volley of arrows or spears. This is most likely a flashback. After this, we see a shot of one of the Chem Barons trapped in an alleyway with Savika on one end and two figures on the other, one of whom is Jinx. Here we see Savika's new prosthetic arm design, clearly made by Jinx, indicating that they have some sort of relationship now. Maybe they team up to stop the Chem Barons? It seems pretty likely. We then get to an extremely quick shot of an explosion. Many have theorized that it's most likely Victor, who is destined to become some kind of cyborg cult leader or something in the game. And I agree. Here's how I imagine it going. Basically, Victor, who is in the council room at the end of Season 9, gets injured by the blast, so much that he has to resort to the Hex Core, a magic device he's been experimenting with in Season 1, and he gets more and more visions of stuff, hence becoming the cyborg cult leader everyone knows him as. We then get a quick shot of Echo, and then some art of Jinx holding up a flag, flanked by people. This says a lot about Jinx's arc this season, where once she was Jinx the terrorist, now she has become a symbol of the Zonite revolution. Maybe this is because she has made the first move in the Piltover Zon war that most of Zon had already been waiting for years now, but maybe there's some other factor. Something interesting here is that it seems to be drawn in the style of Echo's group, the Firelights, indicating some sort of alliance between them. Here we see a shot of some prison or camp being attacked. The explosion seems to be from Jinx's style of bomb, hinting that it might have something to do with her. There's also a mysterious hooded figure. Many have theorized that it's either Jinx or some new character. I, and this is almost purely based on vibes, think it's Savika. She's the only one who's seemingly in an alliance with Jinx, and she's clearly the more anonymous of the two. Now, the prison, I'm not sure what this place is. It's most likely in Zon, but the prison aspect of it seems to indicate that it might also be some part of Stillwater Prison from earlier. So, yeah, honestly, I'm not sure about this one. Next, we see Vi saying, my sister is gone. One thing people have noticed is that she's actually wearing Clagor's goggles. Not sure what this signifies, but it could be a sign that Vi might be going down a similar path to Jinx. Later, she says, "This has to end." I think this is directly after she sees Warwick and recognizes him as Vander, as she seems very sad, almost tearful in her line delivery. This would align quite well with Christian Link's quote from the interview, characters becoming the opposite of their Season 1 forms. Then we get some shots of Heimerdinger, a confirmation shot of Warwick, and Kate firing her Hextech rifle, as the title card appears on screen. Now for the final few shots. Here, Vi's in the ruins of some sort of building, heavily vandalized by Jinx with all her traumas from Season 1. Some say that it's just Jinx being more and more mentally unstable. I think it's something different. Basically, in the season, Jinx seems to be getting more and more involved in the larger scale plot. And as such, her trauma and mental illness might be starting to die down. This happens pretty late into the season, and I don't think this fits with her new arc as I understand it. Therefore, these drawings must be for someone else. And who else? Vi. I think she deliberately brought up all of their mutual pain to sort of take Vi out of her A-game. This would make a lot of sense as Vi seems to be regressing and becoming more and more like Jinx. Then we get to the fight scene from the opening credits, the one we've all been waiting for. I do feel like Warwick plays a role in this, but this video is getting long and people have already talked about it. So, those are my thoughts on the new Arcane teaser. Special thanks to the YouTuber Schnee, you pointed out a lot of details and possibilities that I missed. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Visions of Glory. Thanks for watching.